When we talk about cybersecurity insider threats, we're talking about people within your organization typically that are kicking open the door and allowing in unauthorized access. Most of the time, it's clicking the wrong link in an email. This is probably the craziest one I have ever seen when it comes to insider threats at the highest levels of the federal government. This is kind of hot off the presses, as it were. I will put a link to the article in the description. The Trump administration accidentally texted the war plans of when they did the military strikes in Yemen to the editor and journalist Jeffrey Goldberg of The Atlantic. Apparently, over the course of several days back in the middle of March, he was added to a Signal group. And if you're familiar with Signal, it's an end to end encryption tool for text messaging. You can send other stuff through it. I primarily use it for text messaging. But to think that the federal government, and you're talking about the highest levels of people that you could name in the news, the top level positions, cabinet secretaries, VP, all of it, are using a commercial application to do war planning in and of itself, I think is a little bit surprising. But to the fact of somehow they added the journalist and editor of The Atlantic to this text thread is absolutely insane. He goes on to provide screenshots of this. He said when it first started happening, when he was asked to join this group, he thought it was some sort of misinformation campaign or a disinformation campaign. Thought it was fake. Thought it was somebody doing some trolling or trying to put some other information out there. There's a lot of stuff. Go listen to Darknet Diaries if you can see what's happening with journalists that have a public presence. But over the course of several days, it became more and more clear that this was likely to be real, to the point that they've kind of asked for confirmation at this point. He eventually removed himself from the group. And some things, because they're happening in theater, in overseas actively, he didn't publish that type of information. This is absolutely wild. This is the type of stuff that we beat others on for much less things of leaking to the public or leaving the door open to stuff. And to think that they had a reporter in on this type of thing, if he didn't have any sort of hesitancy, is this real? Could have just went with it in this day and age of everything gets posted. It's hard telling what could have happened if he just verbatim put everything out there on the internet and what our enemies could have done with this. In a normal world, this would be a fireable offense. This is absolutely unreal. It doesn't come across as a surprise because most of them just aren't qualified.